After losing over 70 pounds this past 16 months, I finally got the letter in the mail that I did not want to receive. That is that my insurance will no longer be covering my GLP-1 Zepbound. I thought I was going to be one of the lucky ones that would have coverage forever, and I don't take it for granted. It was amazing while it lasted, and who knows, at the rate that Lilly is expanding access and affordability, by the end of the year, I might be able to get back on GLP-1 coverage, or if not, the beginning of next year. I want to be hopeful about that at least. So, after meeting with my provider, I had to make a decision to take a risk that honestly scared me. If you are on a GLP-1 like Zepbound or Wegovy, Mounjaro, or Ozempic, which are currently covered under your insurance policy, and you're afraid of losing coverage, stick around. This video is for you because this just happened to me. Losing coverage definitely left me feeling scared and concerned about how I would continue to stay on my medication. After finding out this devastating news, I immediately reached out to my medical provider, who was very kind to set me up with a generous refill of my Zepbound to allow me time and flexibility to decide between my options. Do I continue on the brand Tirzepatide with Lilly Direct and pay out of pocket nearly $500 every month? Or do I try compound Tirzepatide, which would be about half the price? I did not immediately seek any of the telehealth companies, neither am I partnered with any of them. My medical provider actually put me in touch with a local pharmacy nearby where I live, a 503A pharmacy, who was able to give me 1 month compound Tirzepatide that was mixed with B12. The pharmacy did obviously have compound semaglutide and compound Tirzepatide. I chose compound Tirzepatide because I am on the active ingredient Tirzepatide with my current Zepbound prescription. Currently, I am on 12.5 milligrams of Zepbound. I actually had the compound Tirzepatide filled for 15 milligrams at the advice and discretion of my medical provider. That way, she said, if it's a little too potent, you use a little less. If it's a little less potent, then maybe use a little bit more just for this month as you try it out, to help you decide if compound is the route that you want to continue with, or if you're definitely going to continue with brand. I think it's fair to say for anyone using compound medication, like, we all share the same fears, right? The safety of the medication, the sterility of the medication being produced, the effectiveness of the medication. Am I going to feel the same and see the same results as I did on brand? The cost for my compound Tirzepatide through my local compounding pharmacy was actually $249 for 1 month. If I continue with them, that will be the fixed price. I realized that there are some online telehealth companies that actually offer it at a lot less. But because my medical provider knows this particular pharmacy, I feel comfortable, using them. If I choose to continue with Lilly Direct, like I mentioned earlier, that would be $500 a month. Some of the things that were the same to my compound prescription were the way that I administer the medicine. It was both through a needle. But I was very surprised to see the actual vial, and I don't have one to show you, but the actual size of the vial for compound, those things are tiny compared to just one automatic injector pen for Zepbound. This thing is a Godzilla size compared to how tiny the little vial is. I couldn't help but ask my pharmacist, I said, are you sure all of my 4 doses are in this tiny, minute little thing? And he said, they're all there. Also, if you've been following my journey, you know that I have struggled with injection site reaction, redness, and itching. And I have heard from other viewers who have told me, Grace, it's not Tirzepatide, it's the needle in these automatic injector pens. And I can actually, in my own experience, not medical advice, not a doctor, just sharing my experience using compound and brand Tirzepatide. And I actually do agree with the masses that the injection reaction is caused by the needle in these pens, because using these insulin needles did not cause the redness or the itching at the injection site like brand Zepbound has caused. I do not think it's the medication. I genuinely think is the needle in these injector pens. Also, this hurts a lot more than this does. And the anxiety that creeps up right before you have to press this clicker is, a whole like production compared to this. There is no like anxiety with this because you don't even feel this going in. Another difference is that the box of these automatic injectors takes up a lot of space in my fridge, as opposed to the tiny little vial and these injection needles. They don't eat up any space of my fridge. Now, how was my experience with them? Obviously, in the last 16 months with brand Zepbound, or actually 15 months, right? Because I did try compound for 1 month. I had a lot of success. I had 4 titrations. I started at 2.5 for 8 weeks, 5 milligrams and 7.5 for 12 weeks each. And then I did 10 milligrams for 7 months. And I have been on 12.5, I want to say at the time of this filming, for the last 7 weeks. Now, how did it go with actual compound tirzepatide? When I first started using compound tirzepatide, when I started my little experiment, and I'm looking at my Excel sheet, I actually weighed in at 198.2, and I administered compound tirzepatide for 4 weeks. And my lowest weigh-in 4 weeks later, I weighed in at 195.2. I actually lost 3 pounds. So did the medication work? And it does work. I mean, I did lose weight. Did I have the same side effects? I'm happy to report. I guess not happy to report, but I am unhappy to report that my constipation was still there. My insomnia was still there. If anything, I felt my insomnia was worse because my compound tirzepatide had B12. And it is my understanding that that's supposed to give you more energy. So that definitely did not help the sleepless nights. I did not have injection site reaction, but something else I really did experience, what felt like more on compound than on brand, was I was belching like crazy. So what happens next? What is my plan moving forward? I mean, I still have 30 to 50 more pounds that I need to lose if I want to get in a healthy BMI. Is compound going to get me there? Or do I firmly believe that it has to be brand medication to achieve that goal? I'm going to be really honest, come forward and tell you I have no idea. At the beginning of this year, I decided it was important for me to decide what was I going to do with these YouTube earnings. And immediately I spoke to my spouse and I said, this medication has given me extra years of life, and I'm not done with my health and wellness journey, and I still need this tool to help get me there. So I want to allocate any YouTube earnings to a savings account, and I want to just leave it there so that the day that I lose coverage, I can dip into that account and I can use it to buy my medication, whether it be compound or whether it be brand. I wanted to make sure I didn't touch our income or other finances for my medication. I wanted it to come from the channel because that's what the purpose of this channel is. What I like to do now is I like to hear from you. If you're a compound tirzepatide user, I want you to tell me your experience in the comments and whether you think I should stick with compound tirzepatide and save some of that money. It is the cheaper alternative. Or if you are a pay out of pocket Lilly Direct user, I'd love it if you tell me in the comments your experience and whether I should stick with brand. Remember, I've only known brand for 15 months, and then 1 month of my journey, I've known compound. So am I biased to one over the other? Of course I am, but also money talks, right? And when I see that very big monthly bill, I'm more inclined to one than the other, but my health is important and I want to make sure I prioritize that over any dollar amount. Thanks for being here with me. Double check you're subscribed to the channel because I know you want to know what I decide. So I don't want you to miss on any future videos. Hit the like so that YouTube will push this video out to others who might be in the same struggle right now, trying to figure out what they're going to decide. Thanks again for being here. Always, I love all of you guys. Till next time, bye.